Let's take a look back at the real best teams in Europe each season. 2005, champions of Europe, Liverpool. Best team in Europe, Chelsea. I'm sure most of you would probably have expected me to name the AC Milan team who lost that final, but no. You see, that side peaked sometime in the previous 2 years. In 04-05 though, there was no looking past Jose's Blues, setting a new record for the most number of points tallied in the league, conceding only 15 goals in the entire season in the league, and only even bowing out in the Champions League due to very controversial circumstances. 2006, champions of Europe, Barcelona. Best team in Europe, Barcelona, the most underrated Barca side to win the UCL. Because yes, while the attack of Eto'o, Juli, Ronaldinho, Messi, Larsen is pretty easy to appreciate, these guys were a pretty solid unit defensively too. Barca that season kept 8 clean sheets in Europe and even won La Liga with a 12-point gap. 2007, champions of Europe, AC Milan. Best team in Europe, Manchester United. Manchester United 06-07 were better than Manchester United 07-08, where the 08 side were heavily reliant on the brilliance of Cristiano Ronaldo. The 07 side could break you apart from various angles. This was far from a pass to Ronaldo with Inshallah show. These men were legit a devastating unit from top to bottom. 2008, champions of Europe, Manchester United. Best team in Europe, Manchester United. There's no doubt that this is the United team that most people look back on as being the best. The reason? This guy. This was the first season Cristiano Ronaldo showed that he had the potential to be one of the game's true greats, firing 42 times from midfield, breaking record after record along the way, and in turn etching his name into United folklore. 2009, champions of Europe, Barcelona. Best team in Europe, Barcelona. This team is what many people wrongly think the Barca 2011 side was. Pep Guardiola really struck gold in his inaugural season in charge of the Barca first team. They had little competition in La Liga, even less competition in the Copa del Rey, and outside the one chaotic night in West London, ruled Europe too, on top of it all. 2010, champions of Europe, Inter Milan. Best team in Europe, Inter Milan. You can't overlook a treble at the end of the day. They went all the way and they did it Jose's way. And if you're unsure about what that exactly means, the knockout tie versus Barcelona that season is as good of an example as you're likely to see. 2011, champions of Europe, Barcelona. Best team in Europe, Barcelona. Barca in 2011, while not as solid or as complete as 09, had a midfield trio that were more established and mature by now, 2 wide forwards that did a lot more for Messi, and fielded Messi in the very first season he began getting genuine shouts of being the best ever. Hard to beat that combo, and very few did. 2012, champions of Europe, Chelsea. Best team in Europe, Real Madrid. With possibly the greatest physical specimen to ever play the sport at its physical peak, this side, unsurprisingly, were all about physicality.